Did you know the longest anyone's ever gone without sleep is 11 days and 25 minutes? Yeah. Back in 1964, a 17-year-old named Randy Gardner stayed awake for 264 hours. By day 2, he was cranky. By day 4, he was slurring his words. And by day 11, he thought he was a goddamn race car. His brain literally started hallucinating full scenes. And here's the kicker. Decades later, he blamed that experiment for messing up his sleep for life. Now, I know what you're thinking. I would never do that to myself. But maybe you already are. Because let me ask you this. When was the last time you actually slept through the night? No tossing, no turning, no cold sweats about that thing your boss said. The kind of sleep where you wake up and you don't hate gravity. You don't need coffee to be civil. You don't look in the mirror and think, who punched me in the face last night? I'm not here to sell you melatonin gummies or whisper about lavender oils like some sort of bedtime influencer. I'm here because I nearly broke myself trying to push through night after night, and it cost me more than sleep. I lost time, patience, joy, the ability to finish a single thought without forgetting what I was saying mid-sentence, like right now. Wait, what was I saying? Exactly. But one night, rock bottom hit me like a hammer. I was lying in bed staring at the ceiling thinking, is this it? Is this what adult life is? Just fighting your own brain every night until you collapse? And I realized something brutal. I wasn't tired. I was defeated. That's different. So I made a decision. I was going to fix it. Not with hacks, not with wishful thinking, but by actually changing what needed to be changed. And spoiler, it worked. I sleep through the night now. Not always perfectly, but enough to remember who I am in the morning. So, in this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly what I changed, step by step, and I'm doing it in reverse, starting with the last, hardest, most important change I made, something I should have done way earlier, because maybe, just maybe, it's the change you need right now. Welcome to Step 8. Step 8 was the thing I resisted the most, asking for help. Not a podcast, not your aunt's essential oils. I mean actual help from someone trained to untangle the mess between your ears. I used to think needing help meant I was failing at something simple. It's just sleep, right? Lie down, shut up, drift off. Babies do it drunk on milk. But me? I'd lie there like a blinking cursor, just waiting. Waiting to feel tired. Waiting to stop thinking. Waiting for nothing to hurt. And one night, around 4 a.m., I realized I wasn't tired anymore. I was done. That's when I booked the appointment. Therapist, sleep doc. Honestly, didn't care who. I just needed someone who could see what I couldn't. And I'll be real with you, it wasn't instant, but it was honest. It was finally someone saying, this makes sense. You're not broken. You're just caring too much. And when someone says that at the right moment, it hits different. That was my first real turning point. Not a hack, not a gadget, just a conversation that reminded me I didn't have to fix this alone. So, yeah. Step 8, ask for help. If you're stuck, this isn't weakness, it's strategy. And it opens the door to every other step that actually worked. Like step 7, which might seem small, until you realize it was ruining everything quietly. Let's talk naps. Step 7 was naps. And if that makes you feel attacked already, good. Because I used to defend naps like they were my emotional support pet. I had excuses, I had nap justifications. Oh, I'm not lazy, I'm just optimizing my ultradian rhythm. Brother, I was just tired at the wrong time every day and calling it strategy. I napped like a retired Mediterranean fisherman. Every day like clockwork. 4 p.m. hits, boom, horizontal. Blanket, phone on silent, one leg dramatically flung over the couch. It wasn't a nap. It was a full commitment. And yeah, it felt amazing until bedtime rolled around and my body was like, sleep? Again? We just did that. So I'd lie there at midnight, wide awake, scrolling through furniture I didn't need and wondering why IKEA names their chairs like rejected Marvel villains. And here's the kicker. Half the time, I didn't even mean to nap. I'd just rest my eyes like some crusty dad in a recliner, and next thing you know, I'm waking up in darkness, wondering what century I'm in. And look, some cultures do siesta. They make it work. Spain, Greece, the Philippines, they've built it into their lifestyle. But the rest of us? We nap like we're trying to patch a sinking ship with bubble gum. And we don't understand why the nights keep getting worse. Here's what finally clicked. Your brain has one internal clock. And when you start taking long naps at weird times, That clock goes full drunk mode. It doesn't know when to release melatonin. It doesn't know when to rest or when to grind. It's just spinning around like a confused Roomba, smashing into furniture. So, yeah, I made a rule: no more late naps. If I absolutely had to nap, it had to be before 2 p.m. and only for 20 to 30 minutes. That's it. No REM, no dreams, no deep sleep. Just a soft reset, like blowing into an old Nintendo cartridge. I also had to stop revenge napping. When you're exhausted from a bad night and you try to make up for it mid-afternoon like sleep debt is a credit card. Doesn't work. Just screws the next night even harder. But the biggest shift? I stopped relying on naps. I stopped giving my body the message that it could be reckless with rest because I'd always bail it out later with a nap safety net. Number nighttime became sacred. Bedtime became non-negotiable. And because of that, naps stopped being a crutch, and I actually started needing them less. Imagine that. So step 7 was simple. Stop napping like a cartoon bear preparing for hibernation. Show up to sleep like it's game time. Because the real rest? It doesn't come from collapsing in the afternoon. It comes from learning to trust the night again. And that, my friend, starts in the mind. Which brings me to step 6, the one that made me cry at 3 a.m. more times than I want to admit. You ready for that one? Let's go there. Step 6 was the one I avoided the longest. Not because it was hard to do, no, it was just hard to face. Because step 6 was dealing with what my brain does when the lights go off. The thoughts, the noise, the full-blown psychological EDM concert that starts the second my head hits the pillow. I'm talking intrusive thoughts, guilt trips, existential dread, and that one fake argument I had with my boss in 2017 that still replays with high-definition clarity. You know what I mean. The lights go off and your brain's like, hey, time to process every single mistake you've ever made, or might make, or probably made, but no one told you yet. Cool. Thanks. It's like having your own internal lawyer reading you your emotional charges. In the case of the cringe thing you said in 8th grade, we find you guilty on all counts. And no matter how exhausted I was, I couldn't sleep through that noise. Because here's the truth I didn't want to admit. I wasn't fighting insomnia. I was avoiding myself. Because sleep is silence. And silence is where the monsters live. You can't scroll past them. You can't busy your way out. At night, when it's just you in the dark, they come sit beside you. And I tried everything to ignore them. Podcasts, noise machines, Netflix running in the background. At one point, I tried falling asleep to true crime. Yeah, because nothing says restful slumber like a man describing how 14 people disappeared in a van in Nebraska. Genius. But eventually I realized the thoughts weren't the enemy. My relationship to them was. So I started doing something terrifying. I let them speak. I grabbed a pen. I grabbed a notebook. And I wrote every damn thought down. Even the weird ones. The dark ones, the stupid ones, the scary ones. I got it all out. No filter, no grammar check, just mental vomit on paper. And slowly, the demons got quieter. Not gone, not silenced, but less aggressive. Because I wasn't running from them anymore. I wasn't treating my own mind like the enemy. I also started meditating, badly at first. Like, am I doing this right? Kind of badly. But I stuck with it. Because even 10 minutes of intentional breathing helped me learn something crucial. Thoughts aren't facts. They're just clouds. They pass. You don't have to chase them. You don't have to fight them. You can just watch them drift by. That blew my mind. And the more I practiced that, the less I feared bedtime. It stopped feeling like a battleground. It became a place where I could finally meet myself, without panic, without judgment, without spiraling into that mental black hole that used to suck me in every night. Step 6 was facing the thoughts, befriending them, not fixing them all at once, but no longer letting them hold my sleep hostage. If your nights are noisy like mine were, start here. Get the journal, close the tabs. Breathe like your life depends on it. Because your peace probably does. And when you start calming the mind, the body follows. That's what led me to step 2. Step 5 was a betrayal to my inner couch potato. Because step 5 was I started moving my body, even when I absolutely didn't want to. And I'm not talking about training for a marathon or turning into one of those rise at 4 a.m. and do a backflip into a cold plunge psychopaths. I mean, walking, stretching, light workouts, just something. Because here's what nobody tells you when your sleep sucks: your body is begging for a job, not an office job, a biological job. It wants to lift things, bend, sweat, get tired in a good way. But most days, I was just a human head on a chair, 8 hours sitting, then lying down, then sitting again to recover from the lying down. My Fitbit thought I was a corpse. I had days where I'd take 800 steps and be like, wow, that's pretty good. Number, that's not walking. That's shuffling between the fridge and the bathroom like a Victorian ghost. And my sleep showed it. I'd get in bed, mentally drained but physically wired. Like my brain was collapsing, but my body was like, cool, let's party, because I hadn't used it all day. So I made a rule: no pressure, no goals, just move. Every day, 10 minutes, 15. Dance around the living room like I'm in a deodorant commercial. Go outside even if I look like I escaped from a bunker. Do push-ups during Netflix just to confuse my neighbors. And let me tell you, it was awful at first. Muscles I didn't know I had filed complaints. I walked like a penguin for 3 days after one YouTube leg workout. But slowly things changed. My body got the message: we're alive again. I started feeling tired at night, but in a clean way, like my body and brain were finally syncing up. I'd lie down and instead of spiraling, I'd just sleep. Because I wasn't vibrating with unused energy, I'd burned it like we're meant to. Movement isn't just for aesthetics, it's biology. It's how you remind your nervous system that it can let go later. And that shift, using the day to earn the night, was massive. And you know the wildest part? My workouts weren't even that intense. I just made it consistent. And my sleep noticed. So yeah, step 5 was moving my body even when I didn't want to, especially when I didn't want to. And that unlocked a whole new level of rest. But even with the physical stuff dialed in, there was one environment I hadn't fixed, and it was the place where sleep actually happens. Step 4 was about turning my bedroom from a junk drawer into a damn temple. Let's talk about that. Step 4 was one of those changes that made me wonder, why didn't I do this 10 years ago? I turned my bedroom into a damn temple. Before that, though, it was chaos. My room had the emotional vibe of a college dorm on life support. Clothes everywhere, crumbs in the sheets, the weird glow of a TV that never turned off, half-used mugs that had become petri dishes of forgotten tea. It didn't say, rest. It said, this person gave up in 2019. And that's the thing. Your sleep environment doesn't just affect your rest. It reflects your relationship with rest. Mine? Abusive. I treated my room like a multi-purpose failure space. Bed for sleeping, desk for doom scrolling, couch for existential dread, lighting that made me look like I was on trial. So, I made a decision. If I wanted to sleep like I valued myself, the room had to show it. Step 1. I nuked the clutter. Anything that didn't scream calm, peace, or bedtime vibes, gone. That pile of clothes I told myself I'd fold later, I folded it, or hid it, or burned it. Not important. The point is, it disappeared. Step 2. Lighting. No more ceiling light that made me feel like I was in an interrogation room. I got warm tone lamps, dimmer switches, a salt lamp I don't even believe in, but it makes me feel like a monk who listens to vinyl. Step 3. Temperature. I kept trying to sleep in a sauna. Turns out the ideal sleep temp is between 60 and 67 degrees Fahrenheit. That's not a guess. That's science. Now I sleep in a room that's slightly chilly, but cozy under the blanket, like being inside a burrito of dreams. Step 4. Noise. If silence freaks you out, get a white noise machine or brown noise or rainforest sounds. Whatever doesn't include sudden birds screaming. For me, it was soft fan noise, just enough to mute the outside world and signal, we're off duty now. Step 5, blackout curtains, game, changer. I live in a city. Before the curtains, my sleep was being hijacked by car headlights and that one neighbor who apparently worships LED strip lights like a religion. Now, my room goes pitch black, like cave dark, like, did the apocalypse happen? Dark. My body feels that and goes, oh, it's time. And I sleep. Deep. Like the kind of sleep where you wake up drooling and don't care. The final move? No screens. I know. That one hurts. But removing my TV and setting a no phone rule in bed changed everything. I used to use my bed to binge shows until 2 a.m., then wonder why I couldn't fall asleep. Turns out your brain's like a puppy. If you keep playing with it, it won't settle. But if you train it, bed equals rest. It learns fast. My room went from chaos to sanctuary, from junkyard to temple. And now, every night when I walk in, my body knows. We're done. We're safe. We're off. You can't control the world outside your room, but you can control this one sacred space. And when you treat it with respect, sleep becomes less of a battle and more of a gift. But listen, none of this would have worked if I'd kept poisoning myself in a way I didn't even realize. Step 3 was about food, drinks, and the little ways I was sabotaging myself from the inside. Let's dig into that. Step 3 was rough, because Step 3 meant breaking up with some of my most toxic lovers. Caffeine, alcohol, and whatever greasy, spicy garbage I kept shoving into my mouth at 11 p.m. like I was trying to summon heartburn demons. Let's talk about caffeine first. Coffee, energy drinks, matcha, that suspicious focus juice, every productivity bro is selling now. It all had to go, or at least get cut off early. Because I used to drink coffee like it was a personality trait. Morning, coffee. Afternoon slump, coffee. 6 p.m., existential panic. Guess what? Coffee. And every time someone told me, you know caffeine has a half-life of 5 to 6 hours, right? I'd say, yeah, but I'm built different. I was not. I was built stupid. Because sure, I could fall asleep after a late coffee, but I couldn't stay asleep. I'd be out for 90 minutes, then wide awake at 2 a.m. like a raccoon with a to-do list. So I made the cutoff. No caffeine after 2 p.m. I hated it. I resisted it. I went through withdrawal, but eventually my body got the memo. And when I stopped chugging stimulants like a stressed-out hummingbird, my nights got quiet. And then there was alcohol. You know how people say, a nightcap helps you sleep? Yeah, that's a lie wrapped in a hangover. Booze helps you pass out, but it kills REM sleep. You wake up 3 hours later, heart racing, sweating, dehydrated, wondering if someone slipped guilt into your wine. I used to call it relaxing. It was actually self-sabotage with a splash of Chardonnay. So I stopped drinking at night. Not forever, just during the week. Or anytime I needed actual rest, not pretend sleep followed by anxiety dreams, where I show up to work naked and get fired in Spanish. But the real villain? Late night food. I used to eat like a trash panda right before bed. Spicy noodles, burgers, entire bowls of cereal, like I was prepping for a hunger strike. And dairy, don't get me started. Cheese before bed turns dreams into a Salvador Dali painting. I once had a dream where I was being chased through IKEA by a screaming wheel of Gouda. I wish I was kidding. So now, I keep it simple. Light snacks if I have to eat. Bananas, oatmeal, chamomile tea. Nothing that makes my stomach start a rave while my brain's trying to chill. And guess what? I started sleeping like an actual human. No more 2 a.m. regret. No more bloated tossing and turning. Just rest. Because food and drink aren't neutral. They're signals. They tell your body, hey, we're fueling up for action. Or, hey, it's time to power down. Once I started sending the right signals, my body stopped fighting me. It started cooperating. So yeah, step 3 was breaking up with the snacks, the booze, and the demon espresso. Still hurts sometimes, but nothing tastes as good as 8 hours of sleep feels. That one change made the next one even easier. Step 2. It was about time. Literally. When I finally made sleep a ritual instead of a random guess, let's talk about the clock. Step 2 was the moment I stopped winging it. I got religious about my sleep times. Not, I meditate under moonlight and rise with the roosters, religious. More like, I finally stopped sleeping like a frat bro on a 3-day bender. Because for years, my sleep schedule was pure chaos. Monday through Thursday, I was clinging to life. 5 hours of sleep max, waking up feeling like I lost a fight with a ghost. Then Friday hit. Suddenly, I'm sleeping until noon, like I was recovering from a crime scene. Weekend me thought it was self-care. Weekday me was like, great, now we're jet lagged in our own time zone. And it turns out that's exactly what was happening. I was giving myself social jet lag. That's a real term. When your weekend sleep is so out of sync with your weekday sleep that your body thinks it's flying across time zones without leaving your bed. That's why Monday feels like a brick to the face, because biologically, it is. So I made a rule: same sleep time, every day. Yes, even weekends. I cried a little, but I did it. In bed by 10:30, up around 6:30 or 7. At first, it felt like a prison sentence. Who the hell goes to bed at 10:30 on a Saturday? Me. That's who. A person who wants peace, who wants energy, who wants to remember what it feels like to wake up and not hate gravity. And here's the wild part. After a week or two, it stopped feeling like punishment. My body liked the consistency. I stopped tossing and turning. I stopped waking up in the middle of the night, wondering what dimension I was in. My brain was like, oh, we're doing this now, every day. Cool. Got it? Because your brain loves rhythm. It's designed for it. Hormones, temperature, energy, all of it runs on a clock. But if you treat sleep like a flexible suggestion instead of a ritual, your whole system suffers. You don't just lose sleep, you lose focus, memory, mood, the ability to not yell at someone just because they chewed too loud. Getting consistent with my sleep times changed that. And yeah, I lost a little spontaneity, but I gained control. I stopped living in a fog. I started showing up to life with something in the tank. I stopped feeling like I needed 5 cups of coffee just to form a sentence. And best of all, the anxiety that used to hit around bedtime, it faded because my body trusted the pattern. It knew what to expect, and that's the key. If you want deep sleep, give your body a rhythm it can rely on. And I know it's not sexy. No one's out here bragging about their 10 p.m. wind down. But trust me, discipline is sexy when you wake up with energy, clarity, and the emotional stability of a Buddhist monk. So yeah, step 2, pick a bedtime, stick to it, and don't let the weekends steal your progress. And once I had that rhythm, it made my final change, the first one I ever tried, actually work. The one that started it all. Step 1. I finally ditched the screens before bed. That's where it all began. Step 1. The first domino. The one that felt simple but hit harder than I expected. I ditched the screens before bed. And not just for show. Not just that fake, I'll stop scrolling at 10 lie we all tell ourselves while still watching conspiracy TikToks at 1:48 a.m. No, I actually stopped. No more phones in bed. No more falling asleep mid-scroll with my thumb still twitching. No more letting my brain marinate in LED blue light and other people's highlight reels. Because here's what I finally realized. Screens don't help you wind down. They hype you up. They're slot machines for your brain. Every swipe, every ping, every just one more triggers dopamine. And dopamine does not tuck you in. It throws a party in your skull. My old nighttime routine was a circus. Netflix running, phone in one hand, laptop on my lap, brain screaming. And I'd wonder why I couldn't sleep. It's like eating cake while trying to lose weight and getting mad. The scale won't budge. So I cut it off. 60 minutes before bed, screens down, lights low, brain off duty. I replaced the scroll with stillness. Sometimes it was reading, sometimes stretching, sometimes just lying there, like a baked potato in soft lighting. The first night I did it, I didn't sleep perfectly, but I didn't feel wired. I felt ready. My brain didn't fight me. My eyes didn't sting. My thoughts didn't explode. And over time, the compulsion faded. I stopped needing the noise. I started wanting the quiet. Because the quiet started to feel like peace, not punishment. And that's when I knew something was changing. Not just my sleep, me. And then it happened. One random Tuesday, nothing special. I followed my rhythm, no caffeine, no nap, no scrolling. Body moved, room cold, lights low. I got in bed, closed my eyes, and I slept. Through the whole damn night. No interruptions. Number 3, AM mental courtroom drama. No weird, cheese-fueled nightmares about being chased by talking tax documents. Just deep, clean, beautiful sleep. And when I woke up, it was quiet. No dread, no fog. I took a breath, and for the first time in forever, it didn't feel heavy. I wasn't dragging myself out of bed like a wounded animal. I was here, present, clear. I laughed, out loud, because I forgot what it felt like to wake up and not hate the morning. And in that moment, I realized this wasn't just about sleep. It never was. It was about trusting myself again, rebuilding something sacred. Sleep is where we heal, where we integrate, where we stop performing and just exist. And if you've been robbed of that for days, weeks, years, I see you. I was you. But it can change. You can get it back, one step at a time, in reverse or forward, doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is this. You don't have to suffer through every night like it's a battle. You can rest. You deserve to rest. And not just because you've earned it, but because you're human. And humans, we're built to sleep. Everything else gets better after that. See you in the morning.